if you are seeing this, me and you, the viewer, have a job to do. Society is not necessarily crumbling as I speak, but things aren't necessarily going as smoothly as they possibly could be. There are wars going on around the world. People are suffering, and there's things like the cost of living crisis and all that sort of stuff. And me and you, us children in a weird sort of way, ages from sort of 20 below, we are going to be the future of the global community, and we have a duty to build ourselves up, become stronger people, physically strong as well as mentally strong, to be able to not only protect ourselves from harm and damage, the people that we love and our families, all that sort of stuff, but we also need to be mentally strong to be able to continue and not give up through hard times. And that is a very, very important message that I want to deliver to you today, because being strong, not only physically but mentally, is such a necessary thing, to not give up when things get hard, because things will get hard. That's an obvious statement. You're not going to go through life swimmingly. Everything's going to be fine, and like you're going to end your life happy, not having experienced too many hardships, because that's a fantasy. That's not going to happen. Things are going to happen. Stress is going to come on you. Things aren't going to work out the way you expected them to, and you have to be mentally strong to just not give up and say, right, I'm quitting this. I'm not going to go forward with that project anymore. I'm not going to go forward with that career anymore. I'm not going to study for this test because I don't care about doing well in that subject anymore, because I'm just going to quit in a weird sort of way. I don't like having that quitter's attitude, and I don't want you to either, because continuing and just not giving up is an incredibly important thing. And while you can reconsider your choices, if you stop going on one path, saying you don't want to do this career anymore, you must have an alternative. You can't just sort of stay there once you've quit, not really knowing what to do. You have to have an alternative, in my humble opinion, because when you sort of have another alternative option and you continue that immediately after reconsidering your options, you're not really quitting, you're redirecting. If you just sort of quit one career and just stay there and you just like not really doing anything, that is quitting, not redirecting yourself in another direction, which could potentially pay dividends in the end. Being physically strong as well is so important, just to be able to go through life. I feel like being physically strong, because there is definitely a connection between physical health and mental health, and so being physically strong, exercising a lot, not a lot, but exercising at a consistent basis, enough for you to be mentally fit and mentally sort of sane as well, will be incredibly beneficial too. And because we are the future of the global community. I've said things like Gen Z are absolutely screwed, because the majority of our people, the community that this sort of age range is, most of them just vape and don't really have much of a focus on their future. Instead of thinking about what they want to do when they grow up, or what they're gonna be, how they're going to achieve any like far wavering dreams that they have to be millionaires, billionaires, start businesses and do all that sort of stuff, be like an online influencer that posts and poses and smokes cigars and posts it on Instagram and gets all the likes and all that sort of stuff. Do they really have a plan of action to be able to get to that phase in a weird sort of way? No one has a plan of action, because everyone is stuck in this instant gratification mindset, and they'll all be vaping and playing video games and just not really caring about what's going to happen, because when it hits them, it's going to hit them hard, and then they're going to realize that I needed to prepare for this and I needed to be mentally strong, but I wasn't. And some will get through, some will swim, some will sink, and that's just unfortunately the way the world works. But I want us as a generation to be able to actually bring peace to the world. The world is not the nicest place at the moment. There are wars, there is hunger, there is thirst, there is dehydration, there is nutritional deficiencies in so many places in the planet. There is poverty. Our generation, I feel like it's going to be make or break time. Either our generation is going to be one to screw it all up and mean that the current decline that we're going on is going to be like boom, down, or it's going to be our generation, the future, that's going to mean that we can actually turn the tides and actually get something going, and we can make a peaceful global community. I don't mean to sound a bit weird and hopeful, but I personally like having hope. I don't think it's right to say that, oh, the world is doomed, just screw it and just give up, because that's not the personal mindset that I want to have ever, no matter what it is. I want to stay hopeful, which in my personal opinion is part of being mentally strong, staying hopeful and praying for the best. If you have done everything that you can and things just aren't working out, you still have to have that hope in your mind, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's the sort of thing that I'm getting at right now. You have to believe that it will be done, or if you don't believe, then it's never going to happen, no matter what luck or circumstances come into fruition. You have to believe. And I do seriously believe that with the increasing amount of people in the self-improvement mindset, it's gonna happen. I made a video called I Think the Message is Working. I made it when I was in the woods in my den. I would have been recording there right now, but unfortunately it's absolutely pissing it down outside, so that's a bit of an L. But there are so many people who are in the gym, who are exercising and working out, building themselves up, making themselves strong, building up the link between their mind and their body, exercising their physical self, which will give them mental benefits as well, make them mentally strong as well, instead of the sort of thing 5 to 3 years ago when lockdown struck. And before lockdown struck, no one was really doing anything. If they were sort of 16 and 15, you didn't really hear anything on the news or all that sort of stuff. But I think the self-improvement mindset has like gone up in popularity so much recently in the last year or so. That's when I came onto the space, and that's when I've introduced my friends to the space. And while I've sort of found it on the internet, and I've been introduced to the whole generic thing, the habits, the meditation, the journaling. A lot of my friends don't do the everything that I do, but that's fine. It's the mindsets to me that are important, and everyone that I personally want to hang out with and be friends with has a positive mindset of some sort of improvement. They don't necessarily want to just YOLO, you only live once, and just do that. They don't mind if progress is slow, but they don't want to just do that. That's not a good thing to them. Doing the vaping, the smoking, the partying, and getting out of your head just doesn't work for them. And that's the kind of people that I want to spend my time with. And that's the kind of people that are going to be the ones to change the world. Literally. Bring peace to this forsaken earth that has been suffering for so long. Which, I don't want to sound weird and hopeful, but I really think that if you are seeing this, if you're on self-improvement, we all have a duty to not only carve our own pathway, but bring our community together and to actually be able to make the world a better place. Because what is the point in self-improvement? What is the point of your journey if you don't make the world a better place? It just becomes some kind of weird, egotistical, psychological, sort of weird thing where you're only doing this to benefit your own ego that was hurt from some traumatic event before. But if you change the world, you are genuinely having a positive impact, and that will pay dividends so much. I can't really explain it, but that's about all I wanted to say. I recommend subscribing because I love the community of young tribal people who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have, and good luck.